Hello there. What's going on, everybody? We got ourselves an Avengers Endgame trailer today, and it looks awesome. We're going to break this down for you, and I also want to remind you guys there is still time to enter the next giveaway for a $25 Amazon gift card. All you have to do is be a subscriber and leave a comment. So let me know what you think of this trailer. What was your favorite part of the trailer? So the theme for this trailer, at least for the first half, is definitely revisiting the past. We're getting all of these characters talking about where it came from, all of these clips from the past. And we know that they've done a lot of shooting with the past. There's all black and white, but all of the red is still in color. And that's definitely giving you the sad, somber feel. We're seeing Iron Man's, we're seeing Captain America revisiting his past. It's going from basically past, present, and up to where we are now. Talking about you having to start over, and it's very, very sad, very, very pretty scenes. We know that they did a lot of filming in their old costumes as well, so I do expect that there's going to be some scenes of the past that is new footage and not, just reused footage from the old movies. So definitely expecting to see that. We're seeing Hawkeye doing some training with his family, and of course where that leads him to now, Hawkeye becoming Ronin. This is going to be interesting. It also seems like a lot of this footage is from maybe the first 20 minutes of the movie. We're seeing Asgard here with the red flags and Thor. He's lost so much, and you already have saw that in Infinity War, and he's now, adding on to his loss, seeing everybody just die with the snap. There's it starts off on such a sad note. Scott Lang, emerging from, if you've seen Iron Man, emerging from, the zone he was in, coming out into seeing, what happened, because he wasn't actually present for the snap. So, he was coming from the quantum realm. And so, and we know that he was in the first trailer that they had done. So we know that he was going to be involved as well. Being very, very interesting. So we're going to see them all come together. I still think a lot of this early footage we see is from the beginning, because where the trailer eventually leaves us, they come into the different costumes. But this is one of my favorite parts right here, is seeing Rocket on War Machine. Looks very, very cool. And I'm very anxious to see them team up a little bit. It really kind of makes you think that they're doing some fighting at the beginning of the movie. Who they're fighting or what they're fighting at the beginning of the movie is going to be interesting, because of the fact that everybody's broken. Are there still supervillains left? Are there still enemies to fight? They're all doing, or are they just trying to all go their own ways, and everybody's kind of split up and shattered at the beginning of the movie? It certainly kind of gives you a little bit of that feel that they're still all training and fighting, but you don't really see them all together. You only see one or two together here and one or two together there, and even Cap is still donning the old costume. So looks looks similar to his World War II costume here, although he does have a little bit of the scale pattern going on in the neck that you can see there. So it looks very, very cool. But then the trailer takes us to the new costumes, and the theme here is whatever it takes. So this is the plan. He's cleaned up there. He looks better. He's hopeful that they're going to be able to go ahead and do. And this is the new costumes that has leaked in some of the merchandise. They all have very much the same costume here, but there's some interesting takeaways from this. First off, what they don't show. We don't see Hulk in here, and I think there's a definite reason for that. If you follow any of the merchandise, it looks like Hulk is going to look a little different, and I don't want to spoil too much, but Hulk definitely looks like he's going to look a little different in this one. We see Nebula, we see Scott Lang. They're all in these new outfits, and you are seeing a little bit of red stuff on the shoulder panels, and it's unclear if this is something to take them through this quantum realm. It's possible Scott could have worked on that, but we do notice that Rhodey's got his War Machine uniform. Now it's still he's still got the armor. He's still got some of the red lighting, and it's still made from the same material or the same design, but it's basically been built into his armor. So he's still going in there suited up and ready to do some battle, which is interesting. But one of the most telling things we get is this scene here, where we're actually seeing Tony Stark with the group. And what's most telling about this is that, first off, Tony gets back. I don't think this is a huge spoiler because obviously they weren't going to leave Tony in space all by himself. Also, because Nebula was with him at the end. So if you knew Nebula was back, then you knew that Tony Stark probably got back also, although the trailer does kind of just show Tony by himself. So it kind of gives you a whole bunch of questions to ask. But the biggest question is going to be who saves Tony. But another interesting thing is who we don't see here, right? We don't see Captain Marvel, we don't see Hulk, and I wonder if there's reasons for that. But also, if you look closer at Tony's uniform, you'll notice he's not wearing, his a big Iron Man suit. Now, granted, he does have the extremis armor, which he doesn't necessarily need to have it being as big and bulky as War Machine right here. But he doesn't have an arc reactor viewing or anything like that. So it gives you the question: does he have another extremis armor equipped before he goes into this, or has he given up the suit altogether? I think is probably going to be. My money would be on like another type of extremis armor. They want to differentiate him between Rhodey, is my guess. But still, it is interesting that there's no arc reactor there. We kind of would expect for a suited up Tony Stark to have an arc reactor visible in his chest, and there is not one in this. Now, granted, Marvel has definitely tried to trick us in the past. This could be a trick. In fact, that might not even be Nebula's head. That could be maybe a Hulk body, because it is a kind of a bulkier. The head doesn't match. Nebula's head doesn't match the body there. So it's possible, because if you look right here, Nebula's walking next to Scott Lang. And then if you look right here, she's walking next to Black Widow. Granted, Scott Lang could be behind Black Widow, but, that's more of a bulkier body than Nebula. So they could be playing tricks on us that might not actually be Nebula walking. Sometimes they will edit footage for a trailer. We saw a lot of that with Star Wars Rogue One, a lot of trailer footage that did not match up or sync up directly to the movie. So the question here is, are they playing tricks on us? Is everything the way we see it, or are characters being omitted, or are things being changed, or is that Tony Stark's actual suit, or is it going to look different when the movie actually comes out? And then we do get kind of like almost like a post-credits scene for the trailer. After the trailer is completed, we see Brie Larson talking to Thor, and and he walks up to her. She looks over at him, and he holds out his hand, and he's summoning Stormbreaker, and boom, comes right into his hand, and she doesn't flinch. And and it's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool scene. And then she gives him a little smirk, and it's a great smirk. I absolutely love this exchange between her and Thor. Which then he looks over, and he's like, "Oh, all right, I like her." And then so really great scene. I think there's going to be some good. That was my favorite part of Captain Marvel too. Was the interactions and between her and other characters, specifically Nick Fury. And so it looks like maybe we'll get a little bit of that similar spirit of interaction between her and Thor. They seem like they're at least going to be on similar power levels, although I think it's fair to say Captain Marvel is more powerful than Thor. They have said that she is the most powerful character in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but that doesn't mean Thor is a chump. I think they will be at least on similar levels. I actually would not be surprised if we were to see something very similar to where Thor and Captain Marvel are keeping score as they're fighting enemies, similar to Legolas and Gimli in Lord of the Rings. Even though one is going to score more than the other one, then they could still have that playful banter back and forth because they're both very, very powerful characters. But really, really liked this part. Was probably my favorite part of the trailer. Now, it does kind of wrap things up and leaves us with certain questions like what is going on with Hulk? What is the story there? What is the story with other characters? What's going on with Wakanda? Is Wakanda going to be in the movie? And when does this all take place? Who is going to rescue Tony Stark? It's been rumored that we will see Rescue. Speaking of Rescue, Tony Stark, that Pepper Potts will be reprising the role of Rescue. And really, we don't know if that is going to be who rescues Tony Stark, or if it will be Captain Marvel as as she is flying around in space and comes back to Earth, perhaps. With the paging, with Nick Fury's pager, if she is flying back to Earth and happens to find another human along the way, if that's going to be like this scene here where Tony is kind of in the ship. And they show a whole bunch of empty space off to the right of the screen. It's almost calling out for somebody to show up from the right and to kind of walk up to his window right there, or fly up to his window. So I would bet that Captain Marvel will be the one to rescue Tony. But that's just my opinion. I'd love to hear what you guys think. What did you think of this trailer? I normally cover Star Wars stuff, but this is still going to be a war in space, so I figured it's close enough, and it's Avengers. It's a big deal. It's a very big deal. So I will sometimes branch out of my comfort zone a little bit. But if you're new here to the channel, I do appreciate if you want to subscribe and click that bell for alerts. And I generally do cover Star Wars stuff, and we're just going to be a lot of that with Celebration Episode 9 coming out soon. It's going to be incredible. So that's all I got for you guys. I want to thank you all so much for watching, and as always, have a great day.